This presentation is going to be about the literacy skill of reading comprehension, specifically in grades 6 and up. The intervention skill will be the use of a reading guide. This presentation is by Caroline Krodiak. What is reading comprehension? This is something that we have all been taught since we were young, but reading comprehension is simply the ability to understand written text. This is different than that being able to recognize words. Recognizing words in a text, but not knowing what they mean, impacts the comprehension of the overall text. Comprehension is what gives us meaning to what we have read. A quote that I liked from Reading Rockets was, "A major goal of reading comprehension instruction, therefore, is to help students develop the knowledge, skills, and experiences they must have if they are to become competent and enthusiastic readers." The act of constructing meaning is interactive because it involves not just the reader but also includes the text and context in which reading takes place. It's strategic because readers have purposes for their reading and use a variety of strategies and skills as they construct meaning. And it's adaptable. Readers change the strategies they use as they read different kinds of texts or as they read for different purposes. There are some added reading comprehension challenges for students in 6th grade and above. First, they are expected to read greater amounts of information across subject areas compared to prior grades. In these grades, they now have content-specific classes that they switch for that dive deeper into topics. There are more articles and nonfiction texts that are being read, and students are expected to be more independent in their ability to read. The ability to understand, summarize, and learn from complex reading material becomes more difficult in middle school and above. Children with a speech or language impairment are at a high risk for developing a reading disability than their typically developing peers. They are likely to have difficulties with word decoding and reading comprehension. A speech and language disorder can result in a child having a smaller vocabulary, which would then impact their reading comprehension. Reading comprehension requires word reading skills, which is looking at a word, sounding it out, reading and understanding the meaning of the word and how it relates to the sentence. Lexical development, which is reading and understanding new words through context clues, root words, prefixes, suffixes, etc. Syntactic development, which is understanding how words combine to form meaning, and topic knowledge, which is building from past readings and information. The mock client for this intervention demonstration is a 12-year-old white female who lives with her mom and dad and goes to a public middle school in a suburban town. She has a visual impairment, meaning in this case a reduced visual acuity. She needs materials in large print. She has the accommodation to have materials read to her as needed to reduce eye strain. The student is reading slightly below grade level and is in an instructional level class. The student is struggling with reading comprehension. One reason is that they are focused on keeping up their reading rates and not as focused on the meaning of the texts. The reading intervention used is the use of reading guides. Reading guides are teacher-created prompts and/or questions for students to answer as they read a given text. These can easily be differentiated based on student needs and grade level. For example, you could change the complexity of questions, you could add or decrease the amount of questions on a page, or you can give clues to students on where to find information. As you go up in grade level, the types of questions and expectations of written responses can increase in complexity. This is a tool that can be used for students to complete independently in a small group or as a class. It could be used to gauge students' comprehension skills when used as an informal assessment if it's completed independently. It also gives teachers flexibility to incorporate different types of questions and reading strategies into their reading guides. For example, you could start by having the students predict what will happen, have them make inferences, have them answer questions related to the 5 W's, who, what, where, when, and why, have them practice summarizing and drawing conclusions, among other skills. The required materials for the reading guide intervention is a worksheet of some sort. So this could be a virtual or a hard copy. You would need either a writing utensil or an electronic device depending on how you distribute the reading guide. You will also need a grade level text or passage for the student to read and refer to while completing the reading guide. On the next slide, you will see the intervention video demonstration. Alright, today we're going to practice our reading comprehension skills by doing a reading guide. So this article here is called The World's Largest Seal. As we read, we'll take turns reading. You can read and then I can read for you if needed. But we're going to fill in our worksheet as we go along, so our reading guide as we go along. So our first question on here is, what do you think this article is going to be about? We have different pens here. As you're reading, if you'd like, you can highlight different parts of the text. So what do you think this article will be about?
A seal.
Okay. And we can answer this question number 2. What do you already know about this topic? So what do you already know about seals?
They live in the ocean.
Okay. Is there anything else you know about seals?
They have whiskers.
Okay. Good job. Okay, so now the next 2 questions, the next 3 questions are going to be answered in the first paragraph. So I labeled on yours paragraph 1. We're going to start reading this paragraph and then we'll come back for our answers. Why don't you start by reading?
In the freezing ocean waters of Antarctica, the planet's largest seals make their home in a frozen world. These giants are southern elephant seals, and they can grow as long as the length of a car and weigh as much as 2 cars combined. The name elephant seal comes from both the male's enormous size and from their giant trunk-like nose called a proboscis. Females do not have a proboscis, and they are much smaller.
All right, good job. So let's look at our question number 3. What is the name of the animal discussed?
It's an elephant seal.
Okay, good job. So you're going to write that in the box for number 3. What specific part of the world, there's a name before the elephant, the seal. So it's like a direction.
This one? Or number 4?
Nope, and number 3. So before elephant seal in the text, there was another word to describe.
Southern.
Southern, good. And we'll find out the importance of that later in the text. Now that we've finished the article, we're going to answer the last 2 questions. Number 12 says, what was the main idea of this text?
information about elephant seals?
Good. Number 13. The author's purpose for writing the text is?
To teach people about elephant seals.
Great job. All right, great work. On this slide, I just have the resources used and I have them organized by slide. Thank you for listening to my presentation.